What's going on, Bulls fans? I know the stream's like 20 minutes live earlier than scheduled, but I couldn't. First of all, let's go, Bulls. First of all, the Bulls showing up, showing why we have the number one and number three fourth quarter scorers in the league, showing up big time. But it wasn't just about LaVine and Io. I'm sorry, LaVine and DeRozan out there. Io showed up big. Ball, who missed three open threes in the last game in the fourth quarter, had an open three, knocked it down to help seal this victory. Overall, this was a great team win. Look, I don't know. Let me know in the chat if anyone who's watching this live, has there ever been a history or anything between Zoe and Harden? Because I don't know, maybe Harden was just frustrated with his play, but it seemed like Harden got a little testy. If you look, there are a couple of little shoves afterwards and stuff, just a little hand placement. Not saying anything dirty, but James Harden 5 for 21 in this game with only 14 points. Kevin Durant with 28 points, but it took 26 shots to get those 28 points from Kevin Durant. The Bulls played excellent defense down the stretch in this game, and that's what you want to see from the team, and that's why this team can beat anyone. Is the fact that when they are showing up, when they are playing hard, and when they're focused on both sides of the ball, we have the fourth quarter scoring, right? We have the clutch scores, we have the scores over the course of the game, but we have that different level of intensity we can kick it into when it comes to defense. Especially in key games. This was a great game to see. Io DeSumo with a the highest plus minus of any Bulls player out there. He played 23 minutes, a plus minus of plus 16, very well filling that Caruso role. Caruso had the highest plus minus, I think, in the last Bulls game. Io is showing that he's a player. And as much as I have been on the camp of we should not trade Kobe because Kobe is going to be our bench scorer, we need that scoring. The way Io is evolving, and we see him evolving every game. And like I said in the halftime hangout, is that's what you want to see from in a game where you're missing two of your best bench player, and as well as a starter who's been a starter since Patrick Williams went out. You want to see these players how they respond. Io showed up great. Tony Bradley with some really big defensive plays and blocks down the stretch. Derrick Jones Jr. with some great defensive plays out there as well and blocks out there as well. And Troy Brown Jr., somebody who in the Hangouts, a lot of the people in it said that they did not, Troy Brown Jr. should not be getting meaningful minutes, played 13 minutes this game, did not shoot the ball well at all, 1 for 4, but had a plus minus of +7 and showed some great passing out there and as well as some key defensive possessions out there. This was awesome win from our Chicago Bulls, and I can't say enough and stress enough about how just important a win like this is. DeMar DeRozan, not Kevin Durant, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine combining for 60 points in this game, and it just as the game got down the stretch, you saw they were getting frustrated out there, but DeMar he was going to go out there and do his thing. And LaVine, again, playing a game that's calm, cool, and collected. Only shot 9 for 20, right? But had 30 points and was 11 from 13 from the free throw line. That is huge. And he's learning that from DeMar DeRozan. Let's keep that in mind. Zach LaVine has not he's always shot well from the free throw line, but he's not historically been a player that is good at getting to the line, especially in crunch minutes. He's learning that from DeMar DeRozan, and he showed it in this game. LaVine is learning how to let the game come to him. He's learning that how you can take over the game even if your shot's not falling. He played great with his head up on defense today, but to score 31 points on 20 shots and 11 of those points coming from the free throw line, he was 2 from 9 from three-pointer. That is a solid game. If you're going to have an off shooting night, that's the kind of night that you want to have, especially getting hot from the three-pointer. DeMar DeRozan, our ace, right? The leader in the league in fourth quarter points scored. 13 for 24, 29 points, but had a plus minus of -1. The bench, and this is the thing that we do need to give credit to, especially me. I've been saying and I've been harping on so long that the Bulls bench needs to show up. We are very low in the league when it comes to bench scoring, but the fact that the bench players showed up tonight. They played with heart and grit and determination. Alize Johnson didn't get any minutes in the second half, but primarily Derrick Jones Jr. with 33 minutes off the bench. He did start in the second half with Caruso being out. Troy Brown Jr. with 13 minutes off the bench. Tony Bradley had 7 minutes, but it was a key 7 minutes. He had a plus minus of +5, and Io DeSumo with a plus minus of +6 and 23 minutes off the bench. Our bench players showed up tonight, and they played with a lot of heart, a lot of determination, and they did not want to let this Bulls team lose just as much as the starters did. When you look at the bench, every starter had a negative plus minus. Every bench player that played tonight had a positive plus minus. That is huge when you talk about building chemistry, building just everything with the team and determination. This was a great game from the Chicago Bulls. Yes, it wasn't a perfect game. Yes, they did some things, especially in the first half and coming into the third quarter, that were questionable. But at the end of the day, they faced that adversity and they were able to pull it together and get a great win. A great win. Let's go ahead. I'm going to start going to the comments. We're going to go through that one by one. I know we're all excited. JDH, wow, we won. Took down NYC one team at a time. Never would have thought this at the beginning of the season. This Bulls team is exceeding all expectations. They're even exceeding expectations of Bulls fans, right? I came into this season saying 45, we can probably get to 50. We're on that 54, 55 game stretch. And I know I saw the comment. I don't remember where it is now, but we'll get into it because somebody called the Bulls winning 58 games. It's Key Isaac Epps. And we're going to get to his comment because, woo, I'm telling you, if you're right with that, I'm going to record myself drinking myself stupid drunk if the Bulls get to 58 wins this season. JDH, I must be dreaming this. This is great, man. This is great. This is awesome. Awesome. One team at a time. You're absolutely right, MCCs. And this team, man. I'll tell you what, this team, I fucking love this team. And I'm sorry, the stream may get demonetized because I curse. I don't know, but I don't give a damn. This team, man, the way that this team is playing, the heart in which we play, and the determination in which we play, this is a Chicago Bulls team through and through. This is what you want to see from your team. I don't know what else. They're not going to win every game, right? I don't know what else you can possibly want, but what I want from this team, a team that is in every game, a team that plays with determination, a team that no longer is getting blown out, or that you question their heart or their focus or how they're coached. All those questions are going away. And I could not be happier as a Bulls fan. That's all I can say. This game, man, especially once Caruso went down, it looked. I didn't know what we were going to be able to do, if we were going to be able to do anything with it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to act like once it came down to what it came down to, and there was a chance of us losing Caruso, I did not know how to feel. I did not know what to expect. But I'm glad that our team, our Chicago Bulls team, is showing that this season. This is not last season. This is not last season's Bulls. This is not the leadership from last season. This team has so much more heart, and they play with an intelligence and a level of calmness that we haven't seen. We have not seen in so long from this team. So I'm just getting some things together with the stream. Hold on. All right. But yeah, just great. A great game from our Chicago Bulls. Let's move on to the next comment. Great team effort tonight. I love to see it. And Zoe was clutch with that. Listen, I'm telling you, you got to trust. Yes, Zoe had a cold game. If Zoe's game was better, Bulls probably would have won this game more easy. But the fact that Zoe, the team still showed confidence in him, right? Zoe missing 3 open threes last game that would have kind of sealed the deal, to this game coming in, still not playing the great, not shooting the best. He played amazing on defense. Great defense on James Harden, by the way, tonight from Zoe. But the fact that he showed that he has ice in his veins, or ice water in the veins, is that what they say? And knocked down that 3. That was the key to us sealing this game. All right, Key Isaac Epps, you are absolutely right, bro. Listen, if you called it if that happens, man. From your mouth to God's ear. Stop playing with us. Lonzo shot sealed it. My Bulls. Heart love my Bulls. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go. Yes, let's go. Let's go. The audio and video are out of sync. God damn it. What's happening? How bad is it out of sync? Let me know. I'm sorry. I'm just getting to this comment. Hopefully he caught up. I was huge this game. Love the Rook. Absolutely. Love this team. Love it. Great win shorthanded. Absolutely. Let's go Bulls. Harden's legs were gone, man. Yeah, they were coming off of back-to-back, so let's do acknowledge that. But outside of the just coming off the back-to-back, Zoe played amazing defense on Harden. Amazing defense. Little out of sync. I appreciate it. Let me know if it's still out of sync. Let me go to these more recent comments. I know this is ain't synced. All right, let me know. I'm to the most recent comments, or just scroll down. Are the audio and video out of sync still? Let me know if they are, and if how bad they are. Is it distracting to where you can't watch the stream? Because if so, I may have to stop it and restart it. Let me know how bad it is, please. So I'll be looking out for that. But otherwise, I'm gonna keep going right now without it. But I'll be looking for it. We officially own LA and New York. Listen, we may damn near own the league and definitely the Eastern Conference. Zoe killed the game, absolutely. Io was all over the court with blocks and everything else, like steals, knocking the ball out loose, everything that he did, everything that he did. Yeah, it still is. It ain't bad though. Okay, I apologize that it's out of sync. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you, little peek behind the scenes. I haven't restarted my computer in probably a week, and that's probably just what it is because I have a custom built PC for this specifically. That's why I only stream from this side of the studio, but I haven't restarted the computer in like a week. And for anyone who knows computers, if you don't do that, it can cause some things to happen. If we can make a move with Kobe and someone else, it has to be done because we're definitely trying to win now. We're absolutely trying to win now. And that's the thing. My thing on not trading Kobe has only been that we don't need to trade Kobe to fill in what we need with the four. Especially because we need more bench scoring, right? You can't be that low in bench scoring and make a significant run. But I'm not saying that for the right deal. I just with Kobe's trade value is at an all-time low. I don't know how much they can really get for Kobe right now. That's just honest. Even though I would like to see them play because keep Kobe because I do believe in Kobe's potential, especially now that he's going to be in a role where he shouldn't have to handle the ball a lot and he can just go out there, work off screens, run around and get hopefully open shots. But with that being said, if there is a deal that absolutely opens your championship window and brings us closer to more. Like I already think we can contend for Eastern Conference Finals, but if you have a deal, you trade them, you throw them in. Period. If you get it that brings you closer to the championship, you trade them. No questions asked. No need to ask questions. I can't believe we won, bro. Lost so many people, struggled, and we won. Absolutely. We did not play a perfect game today by any stretch of the imagination. We played a very sloppy defensive first half, but they were able. The key thing is that the Bulls were able to turn around that first half, as bad as it was, and still bring it together in the fourth quarter. Everybody making winning plays. Everybody contributed to this win. Every player who got on the floor, especially in the second half, minus Alize Johnson because he didn't really play in the second half, contributed to the Bulls winning this game. And as they were marching, as the Bulls were taking that lead, right? You just felt it. The momentum was building, the excitement was building, the grit was building. You saw Zach and the faces that he was making and the excitement from the bench as that continued to go and they were taking the wind out of New York. Man, it was the Bulls game to lose at that point. He got ripped up by Paul Millsap. Go Bulls. Great win, guys, from Australia. Thank you. I love when we get viewers from overseas. I grew up overseas most of my life in Italy and Germany, so I understand. Thank you for staying up and watching the game. The Vooch, the video. Oh yeah, I know. They told me. Let me know if it's still not too bad. If it gets too bad, please let me know because I'll stop the stream and restart it. If need be. King DeMar, Lord of the Fourth. Absolutely. What happened to Caruso? So he tried to go. He played about 8 minutes. The hamstring was harping him too bad. It was hurting him too bad, so they just decided to sit him. He didn't like re-injure it or anything happen like that. I just think he wasn't playing out there to the level that he expected of himself. They decided to let him sit, let him rest it because the Bulls have high aspirations. You want to let your players rest. I understand wanting to win this game. Luckily, they were able to anyway, but Caruso needs to rest. And at this point now, let's see what we can get from Io. Let's see what we can get from Derrick Jones Jr. starting. Let Caruso rest. Even if you do end up losing a game that you could win with Caruso, let Caruso rest. At this point, we see what we have in this team. If you drop a game or so because you're letting Caruso rest up for the stretch down the run, it's worth it. It's worth it, at least to me. Good win for the Bulls. When guys go down like this, the Bulls have more determination to prove they can still win. Absolutely. Exactly. 8 minutes and 6 points from Caruso, who hasn't really been a big time scorer for this team. Absolutely. Zoe was a beard trap. Listen, First of all, James Harden just was tired. Like the legs, and somebody pointed that out. Absolutely, the back to back probably did get to him, and we know James Harden's playing a lot heavier. It seems like than what he has at any point. But you still can't take away from what Zoe did to him defensively. Zoe got in that man's head. Zoe got it. Zoe's defense was great. It absolutely was great. Zoe's defense is phenomenal. Phenomenal. I really like the way the bench was used. Short spurts of energy, guys used at the right times. Derrick Jones Jr. earned the extra run, and too close to yes, and he Derrick Jones Jr. earned the bill. I think especially if Caruso's going to sit, and maybe even if Caruso isn't sitting, if Caruso does come back by the next game, I think at this point Derrick Jones Jr. has earned the right to be the starting power forward. I would go on to say. And yes, you need the scoring off the bench, but I believe Javonte will give you the same thing whether you start. I would go on to say that maybe Derrick Jones Jr. has earned the right to be the starting power forward outright. Let me know what you guys think about that down below. Do you think that Derrick Jones Jr. should be the Bulls starting four going forward? Let me know what you think about that. Hit that like button. This man is great. Thank you, Joe the Blacksmith. I appreciate you guys so much. We got 100 people watching us live today, even with the laggy stream. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's my fault. I didn't restart my computer. I should have. It's my fault. I meant to. It's my fault. Just the win we needed. Absolutely. Really thought we were going to lose this game when Caruso went out, but this team, man. Hey, listen, and Io is going to make some rookie mistakes. There are going to be games very much like this that Io is not going to play as well in down the stretch. It's going to happen. But with that being said, how many rookies? Let's look over the course of the league right now. And yeah, okay, outside of the lottery picks, how many rookies are really producing at the level that Io's doing? And the difference with a lot of that is that Io is doing it on a team that's winning, right? A lot of the rookies that are producing high level are doing it on teams that are either rebuilding, that don't have aspirations to that the Bulls do. The fact that Iowa is contributing to what could be an Eastern Conference Finals run and maybe more, depending on what happens, is huge, man. It's huge. And that, again, hats off to AK and Eversley for drafting him, right? Because they could have easily, there were some other players, like I think even when Iowa was picked, there were a couple players that were looked at being the best available above him. But the fact that they draft him, not just because he's from Chicago, those are all added things, and that he's contributing right away at this level is huge, man. It's huge. It's huge. What Zoe does defensively, and I talk about this every stream. For anyone who watches me consistently, you guys will know what Zoe does defensively is special because he points out what the other team is doing on offense and he talks to his teammates, and that's what helps us play better team defense. Absolutely. 8 points is not enough as a starting point guard. I expect more. Listen, first of all, it's not about points. We got to stop with judging players' value based off points. Points are one aspect of the game. Matter of fact, I will go on to say that points are, yes, they're that easy thing to look at as what contributes. But if you're a real basketball fan, you know that points aren't the same for every player. For example, Ben Wallace for so long was a great player in the NBA, a valuable player, and didn't really score very much at all. We got to stop trying to say that to be a starting, you need to score so many points. Look at the team he's on. He's out there with 3 players who can easily average over 20 points per game. He does not need to score. The 8 points that he scored are solid. What he's averaging is solid because of everything he does defensively, everything he does talking to his teammates. Come on, man. That's bullshit to say that about Lonzo Ball. That's bullshit. And I'm gonna be honest with it. It's bullshit. Zoe doesn't need to score. They have play. Exactly. Zoe's IQ is what's helping us and what is making him so bad, so good on this team. Not bad. No Kobe White, no Javonte Green, no Alex Caruso. Damn, and still won. And Ben scored very well too. Very well. Derrick Jones Jr. and Io's blocks were simply, hey, listen, from your mouth to God's ears. I told you number 11 had to take over. Audio and video is off, but who cares? Bulls crushed it. I appreciate that. I'm sorry that the stream was a little bit off. So this stream, our defense down the stretch especially was amazing. Tony Bradley. And that's why I say when the Bulls do get a 4 right, because if they do, the 4 is probably going to play some center as well, just with how small Billy Donovan's comfortable playing. I really think with Tony Bradley getting those 8 to 12 minute spurts of coming in, playing great defense, he can definitely do that. Bulls number 1. Are we now officially number 1 team in the East with that win? I think the Nets were 1.5 games above us. So yeah, with us beating them, I think it counts as like 2 games or something like that. So we probably are. Trey Brown and Tony Bradley was huge. Yes, Bulls are winning the East from your mouth to God's ears. That's all I got to say with that. I wish Miles Turner would. If it was that simple, right? You know, you got to think about this contract fitting in a trade. But yeah, Miles Turner would be really good for this team. Really good for this team. Io stepped up and he brought us energy. AC would, and I've been making that comparison for a while now. Is that I really do think, and I'm not saying that's Io's ceiling, right? Io may have a ceiling higher than that, but that's still a great ceiling to hit. Io learning behind Alex Caruso is probably the best position for him to be on. And Caruso's on a 3-year deal. Caruso isn't that old either. But I've talked about before, it's going to be very hard for the Bulls to keep Io just because of how second round picks who outperform do. They don't have that same protection. The Bulls don't have the matching ability that they do with lottery picks or first round picks. So because of that, a team could offer Io a super huge deal that the Bulls just can't match. But again, from Chicago, he may want to stay here. He may take less to stay here. Io has some super big potential. Now, potential isn't always realized, but he has great potential to be a player in this league for many years to come. P. Will and Kobe for Miles Turner. I'm not, again, I get people are down on P. Will. I'm not ready to give up on 20-year-old Patrick Williams. Leaving Iowa longer was a great decision, and trusted, right? Billy trusts his players. And imagine how the difference would have been had Io came in and Boylan was the coach. Imagine that. Imagine how untrusted he would have been, how less opportunities he wouldn't have gotten. And I really do think for as lot of the young players that the Bulls drafted, I still believe in some of them. Still believe in Gafford. I still even think Laurie can put it together to have a career. Wendell as well. But imagine how hurt how much hurt it did to their career to play behind a dumbass coach who had no idea how to really trust players or how to develop players. Just think about that. Think about that. But yeah, Io came in the right situation. The fact that Billy trusts him says a lot about him, his readiness, what he does in practice, because clearly he's showing something in practice and everything else. They keep it very close in the fourth quarter happen. Hey, that's what it is in the NBA. You can't get down by big leagues and battle back, but it takes a lot of energy to do that. If you can keep it close and then catch some momentum, anything's possible. Anything's possible. Like 1 or 2 seconds behind. All right, thank you for that, Damien. How much more confident are you in the Bulls? I've been confident. I have a whole video where I say that the Bulls can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and because I believe that they can do that, I believe the Bulls can make finals this year. I think that again, things would have to happen. I'm not saying they should be favored to, but I do think the Bulls can make it. And that's not me just seeing red. That's me looking at how this team plays and how they compete. Philly, we got to figure out something to do with. We got to figure out something to do with the zone. But if those things are done and those things happen, I definitely think the Bulls can make it to the finals this year, and especially the Eastern Conference Finals. With the Green, AC, and Kobe out, we'll be able to work others in and a good thing and get a good look at him. Absolutely. And that's what I kind of said on the halftime hangout, is that with the players are getting opportunities now. Players that probably wouldn't have. Troy Brown Jr. for one. Alizé, even though he only got 7 minutes getting those. These are players that we haven't really had to take a look at after the first handful of games of the season. And they're showing some promise. Alizé not as much, but Troy Brown Jr. is showing some. Now, that could just work his trade value up, right? So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, it is what it is. This game told me everything I needed to know. You can't question the heart and the desire to win of this team. Absolutely. This team has heart. This team, and they have the ability. They have the skill. They have the skill. Yes, they have holes, just like every other team. But listen, you got to respect the Bulls. XXXX says, wow, absolutely great win. I don't mow with you. Y'all usernames are fucking amazing. You crack me up. Give us respect. Go Bulls. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see what else. Let me get They better start recognizing us. LA, NY, doesn't matter. Listen, the Bulls have to start getting some, and I don't know how it works. I know the Bulls didn't have a lot of nationally televised games on the schedule this season, but I think the NBA can call an audible in some of that. So it'd be surprising. But next year, the Bulls are going to be all over national TV next year, all over. And watch it be surprising how the national conversation around the Bulls changes when they have more nationally televised games. Just watch that. I'm calling. Just watch it. That was supposed to be Patrick Williams. What was? I missed it. I missed it. Love your always positive vibe, bro. I appreciate it. I mean, and the thing is, yes, I try to be positive. I try to talk, but I'm honest, right? When the Bulls play like shit and I have a live stream, I call them out. I show just as much when I keep the same energy when the Bulls win or lose. I'm honest in the way that I review the teams and the games that they play. I believe in transparency. I believe the one thing, and some Bulls fans have gotten on me and said, after the Bulls lose, like, oh, you're being a Debbie Downer. But I analyze what happens and what they showed in that game, and I try to be honest with it. It's all about integrity for me of this channel. When I decided to start this project, I had to be integral. I had to be honest with what I do and what I cover, because we already have enough channels and content creators that do the fake headlines or whatever, the clickbait headlines and videos. I don't do any of that. You notice I don't do the Bulls are reportedly interested in such and such videos. I don't do those, because the integrity of this channel means more to me. That subscription, when you subscribe to Chicago Bulls Central, I want the people who subscribe to know they're going to get a fan. I'm a fan first and foremost, but an honest fan in the way that I review the team. Derrick Jones Jr. definitely deserves a start. Hey, give it a whirl, especially while Javonte Green is out. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You can always put Caruso back in there when he's healthy. You can always put Javonte back in there. But I think he definitely deserves a look at power forward. Do you think DeRozan is the best fourth quarter player there is this season so far? Yes. Ever? No. In the league? This season, yes. I'm going to say that. I'm going to play with safe for that answer. This season, yes, absolutely. Iowa has been great. I think he can be a long-term piece for us team, as long with Patrick and Zach, Drew Holiday 2.0. The only, and I kind of talked about this early in the stream, the only issue with that is that he was a second-round pick. At the end of his 2-year deal, a team can come in and offer him 10, 12, $15 million contract. And with the way that the Bulls contracts are lined up, right? DeMar still on contract. Caruso will still be on contract. Patrick Williams will be up for extension around that time, depending on how he plays. I just don't know if the Bulls financially would be able to keep him if he keeps playing at this level. Because they don't have the matching ability like they do. They don't have that. They also wouldn't have bird rights. So keep that in mind. Only 2-year contract. They have early bird rights, but not the full bird rights. The thing that allows teams to keep players and go over the cap are the bird rights, and are the matching ability with rookies, right? With people coming off their rookie deals, if they're first round picks, to be able to extend them a qualifying offer and match any contract they're offered. They don't have that ability with Io. So if Io keeps playing like this, unless he says, I just want to stay in Chicago, but if a team sees potential in Io maybe to be their starting point guard and offers him that 10 to 15 million, it's going to be very hard for the Bulls to keep him. Very, very hard. And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. I don't mean to be pessimistic, but I just want to be honest with that. It could get very expensive and costly, and the Bulls may be just priced out of keeping Io. Just keep that in mind. He definitely thought he was going to start today. I thought Derrick Jones Jr. was going to start as well. We play better in close games and can't protect big leads. Is that coaching? Yeah, I think especially coming out of the third quarter cold, there's something going on with adjustments, right? I don't know if Billy Donovan is making adjustments as quickly as we need him to in some games, but also don't forget the Bulls. Sometimes they go through these spells where they don't defend well, and they do get open shots and they don't go down. So it's like a combination of everything. It's some coaching and some of the players, and some with the refs too. We know the Bulls have been officiated terribly. Let's talk about that play. The two that the Bulls should have got continuations. They should have had and ones, but the refs waved them off. You cannot convince me that the refs aren't point shaving, that they aren't affecting the spreads. There is something. It's been too many questionable calls, right? You usually get the odd questionable call, maybe the minor questionable calls each game, but we're talking about major game and momentum changing calls that are being officiated in terrible ways in like the last 5 Bulls games. Since that game where Lonzo should have had the 4-point play, and he got called for an offensive foul, it's been like all fucking downhill since then. Something's going on. I'm a minor conspiracy theorist, but something's going on there. Something's definitely going on. I don't necessarily care about a long playoff run. Here's where I care about. Zach LaVine has never been to the playoffs. He's never been able to show off his skills under the bright lights. I mean, yeah, but if you get to the playoffs, you want to be able to exceed in the playoffs. Yes, But the thing is that if we're talking about a long playoff run, guess what? He's doing all of that. He's getting the opportunity to shine with the bright lights. He's getting the playoff experience, but we're winning. You can get both of those. Those aren't mutually exclusive, but I feel where you're coming from. IO Silver, that was a great call. I love being able to that I have League Pass and I can pick the Bulls commentators on every game because our commentator is always going to be great for us, but the catchphrases and everything they come up with is just amazing. Do you know DeMar is the best? Yeah, we talked about it. We talked about it. Making the playoffs gives Zach the opportunity to showcase his skills on a global scale. This could skyrocket his star. I mean, yeah, we know all that. All that's good. This whole season is doing that. IO does have that Drew Holiday game. Yeah, he does. He does. Good way to grind this game out because looking at the box score, you won't think that we won. And that's the difference. And that's why box scores don't tell the full story. What the Bulls were able to do this game is playoff. That is best. That is one of the best team in the leagues. That's how you play, how you grit out wins, all of that. That's what we want to see. Billy can manage the clock. He can or can't. He can manage the clock. He can manage. Billy can do anything. It's just sometimes his adjustments are questionable for me. We are official. Absolutely. Just saying that Lonzo Dagger should have been it, but refs decided to call a foul after Io had already dumped the ball. Shout out to Io. He split for the clutch. Yeah, Io's showing some great things this season. Great things, great things. We have two closer. Ball points are not. I mean, he needs to be able to score, but not at the level some people try to make it seem like. Like people want to see Lonzo be this 18-point per game, 10 assists per game player. And if you should want to see, I'm not saying there's a problem wanting that. But when you look at the makeup of the team just isn't made up. He's never been on a team where he's had to score a lot for one, but it's just not the makeup of the team. It just isn't. It just isn't. Imagine locking up Harden and hitting the dagger to seal the victory and someone crying about how many points you score. Exactly. Like, it's funny how, like I said, points per game is that easy, right? That's that easy way to tell, okay, this is the impact that they had on the game. And I tend, this is not a shot at anyone, but I tend to think that people who hype up and say, well, I want to see them score this many points is because they don't really watch basketball. They watch highlights, they watch maybe some parts of games, and then they go and look at the box score, and that tells them how they should feel about the game. It's more than that. For people who really, really watch basketball, it's so many other things that go into it other than just point per game. What Zoe did on Harden, enough. If he didn't score a single point, what he did and the way that he guarded Harden is enough because of everything else that he does on the floor. This one should be a message to the league and all that. The Bulls are for real, and they hear Stephen A. Listen, Stephen A. I would love to. Somebody needs to force Stephen A. Smith to watch every Bulls win from so far this season. Bulls hand down, make up for lack of size. Yeah, busy hands, make up for lack of size. Absolutely, busy hands and length. Right? Yes, we don't have the size, the height. Right? Sometimes we don't have the size as far as weight, but the Bulls have length, and the one thing that is in basketball is that if you have the length, right, and you're tough, you can defend anyone. And that's what Derrick Jones Jr. is showing. That's what a lot of players on here are showing. Derrick Jones Jr. looking like a starter. Would love to see him at the starting four with his versatility, hustling, rebounding, running the floor with Zach and Lonzo would be crazy on the fast for real. That's why I am calling for Derrick Jones. Not that it matters. I'm a small YouTuber, right? But I would love to see Derrick Jones Jr. get, like I said, while Javonte Green's out. I understand why they wanted to do Caruso. I understand that completely. But even if Caruso is healthy next game, I would love to see the Bulls just go to just starting Derrick Jones Jr. for the majority of this thing and then evaluating. The thing with Javonte Green and even with Derrick Jones Jr. to a degree is that Javonte has shown he's going to give you his hustle and his production, whether he's starting or coming off the bench. But I really do think the Bulls could unlock something in Derrick Jones Jr. and in the rotation while they're waiting on the search for another four. That's just my opinion. It doesn't mean that it doesn't really mean anything, right? There have been plenty of players, current and past, to play on both sides of the ball. Ben Wallace was a center, incomparable. Please stop making it. No, okay. It's not about making excuses. It's about evaluating the game, right? And excuse me for anyone else watching this. You can look at the way that the team is structured. You're being lazy and saying that you need him to score more when the team has been winning with the way that he's playing, and he's been playing amazing defense. No, it's not about making excuses. It's about actually watching basketball and not just the box score. You should probably try it, all love. Do we know how long AC may be out for from the hamstring injury? Well, the thing with the hamstring is that it's one he could play, right? He probably could have toughed it through and played a little bit more today, but he probably felt he was hurting the team more. It's just one of those things that need rest. And so the Bulls should give him a rest. I think they should let him, like I said, let's see, what's our schedule? So I know we play Denver Monday and then Wednesday. So between then, if he takes those 2 games off, we're looking at him getting 4 days of rest. That probably may be what needs to happen. Yes, the Denver game we would love to have him in. The Cleveland game should be a little bit easier if we don't have him. But if we can get him back by that Miami game so we can beat Miami, that would be great. That would be great. That's my opinion. Zoe and D is so underrated. He Clint Harden. Also, you see how many steals Bull average with Caruso and Zoe on the floor. Absolutely, and that's what I've been saying, that Zoe's contribution, the way that he talks to his teammates, the way that he knows what other teams doing, the way that, like, look at some of the plays. Like, there are times where the bigs are down low fighting over a rebound, and Zoe literally just comes in there and puts his hand and knocks it loose, and then we get a steal. Zoe's amazing. Zoe's amazing. Zoe's amazing. All right, Beans, let's go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Pat Will. Oh, first of all, shout out to the St. Louis. For those, I grew up overseas in Italy and Germany. I then lived in St. Louis for about 12 years before I moved here. I live in Columbus, Ohio now. So first off, shout out to the arch in your profile pic there, your Avi. But Patrick Williams is going to be great. Just imagine this team was fully healthy. Absolutely. Absolutely. How bad is Caruso Hams? It doesn't seem like it's going to be bad. And as far as Kobe White, you really don't know with COVID. They have to, I think, test positive twice, I believe, before they can come back. So we'll see. We'll see. When Zoe's cold, he's cold. Can't do anything about that. He has to shoot out of it. If not, if it or not, his defense and playmaking more than makes up for it. Shoot out of it or not, his defense. Yeah. If the thing with Zoe is that because of what he does defensively, he's always contributing positively to what the Bulls are doing. As well as even when he's not shooting, just him being out there in the way that he is great. His shot wasn't falling tonight, but it fell when it mattered, right? It fell when it mattered. Respect Zoe as a floor general. We don't need his points. Leave the points for exactly. People may come back this year. Yeah, what they're saying by the playoffs, right? Maybe earlier if he heals early. Like, yeah, if we can get a healthy Patrick Williams for the playoffs, like I said, even if he's coming off the bench, that is a big move for that. Big move. Have you ever thought of doing a one-on-one interview with Bull Central about the team? How are they doing and thoughts about what they can improve on? You could call it Central Stampede. I don't even know if he knows I exist, right? He's such a big channel. What does he have, like over 10,000 subscribers? He probably doesn't even know I exist, but he's a great content creator, that's for sure. RIP to those who said the Bulls would be 12th. And listen, for those people who were saying that the Bulls would be lucky to make a playing game, that's what I got to say to the people who said that shit. Off topic, but I'm glad to see Stephen A. Knicks underperform. I just love anytime Stephen A. Smith has to shut the fuck up. Give us our Christmas game back. Yep, we deserve it. My grandpa texted me, Bulls lucky win. I told him it's not luck. Great teams find ways to win games. Your grandpa should know that, but it's always good when you control the elders, right? Always good. Sometimes we beat Showtime. Absolutely. Against any team, Bulls in 6 or 7. I believe the Bulls can beat any team in a 7-game series. Any team. I'm not saying they're going to be favored. I'm not even going to say they're going to, but I believe they can. They have that ability. Absolutely. As good as D-Rose was when he first started playing for the Bulls and D-Wade, I feel that Io has the skill level to surpass. Ooh, Jeff has said that is a heavy statement there. You feel that Io has the ability to surpass D-Rose and Dwayne Wade? Listen, if you're right, I'm a bookmark this. I'm gonna screenshot this comment again, because if you end up being right, bro, I'm gonna have to take you out for dinner, man, for sure. Super chat, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for the super chat. Fuck Green Bay, go Bears. I've been being asked to make a Bears channel for like the last month, and I will say, I will probably start covering Bears content at free agent at the start of free agency of next NFL season. But anyways, that was a floor general. We don't need him to score. We have other players for that. Absolutely. Let's give props for Alex for playing with that hamstring and giving us 6 points. We lose without it. Hey, Good point there. I mean, shout out to him to being willing to fight. He knew the importance of this game for him to try to, and also let's acknowledge for him to say, "Hey, I'll probably be hurting the team more. I can't go. I'm going to go ahead and sit the rest of the game." Those two acknowledgments and efforts just show the type of player that Caruso is and why this Bulls franchise loves him so much. You remind me of me and my cousin on the phone talking about the Bulls. That's when I started this channel. My goal was for it to feel like just Bulls fans talking. That's why when you guys asked for live streams, right? I put the question up. You guys voted 80% that you wanted me to start doing live streams, and because of that, that's the nature that I want this to be. That's why I talk a little bit about the game to start, just to start the conversation, and then it's the conversation between me and you guys watching. And I love doing this. I love doing this. We usually go for about an hour and a half. Great win by the Bulls, makes up for the Houston loss. Best win of the year. I don't know if I would say the best win of the year, because there was just something special about that game where Vooch scored 30 and DeMar and LaVine were both over 20. There was just something special about the way that the offense and everything flowed. But considering all the adversity, actually, let me backtrack on that. Considering everything that went into this game, like us and who we're missing, this probably absolutely was the best win of the season. And the Nets were the number one team in the East coming into this game. So, no, I take that back. You're absolutely right. Y'all hit I appreciate you. Juju knows hoops. That's my brother there, man. Y'all go and follow Juju, man. Go and follow Juju. That's my brother. What piece do you think the Bulls are missing? I've talked about this heavily and extensively. The Bulls, they don't need a superstar at the four. They don't even really need a scorer at the four. They need someone who can block shots, rebound, hustle, and can hit open shots. Because as we see, especially when DeMar, LaVine, and Vooch are going, there are so many open shots for the other players that are on the floor. So we need somebody who has the ability to open shots. We really need Javonte Green to be able to grow like 3 inches while he's out with COVID, and then it would be the perfect player. Perfect player. Seems like Billy trying to get Brown's trade value up because every time he's out there, he shows us fans why he's bitch. Well, he had some good stretches in this game. Let's not completely act. He had a positive plus minus in a game where all the starters didn't have positive plus minuses. Troy Brown has shown some things and he has some skill. I just don't know if maybe we're not the right team to maximize on it. He's not a horrible player. I can completely see it if he gets on the right team, or maybe it just takes some years for him to build up. As my dog just makes too much noise as he builds up his confidence and everything. But Troy Brown has some potential out there for sure. Part of the tampering punishment is for the refs to officiate blindfolded. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if the NBA was like, hey, we couldn't really find anything. We took a second round pick. Make it a little tough on them for about 10 games or so. The adaptation by DeMar to pass to Zoe after he scored so many points in the fourth shows you his IQ. Instead of being selfish, he baited Nets perfectly for the Zoe dagger. And that happens a lot on this team. That happens a lot. And Zoe, that's why we trust him in the fourth quarter. That's why he's the king of the fourth so far in the NBA this season. Absolutely, because he's a smart and intelligent veteran who knows how to get points on the board, whether it's him getting to the line, whether it's pump fakes, whether it's getting his other teammates open, and he hits threes as well in clutch sometimes. So DeMar is such an underrated pick, right? And he may very well win Acme the executive of the year this year because people were so down on him when he initially came to this team. Watching from Jamaica, shout out to my brethren in Jamaica. Great win tonight. Absolutely. We won taking 25 less shots. Really, I didn't look at that part. We took 25 less shots than the Nets. And don't forget this, they killed us on second chance points. If they would have won this game, it would have been because of their ability to get second chance points. The rebounding battle. The Bulls had 47 rebounds to the Nets 55 rebounds. We got out rebounded by almost double digits. That is usually going to be a tough game for any team to win, much less when you're turning the ball over and they're actually converting that into those rebounds into second chance points for the other team. Like I said, James Harden, 21 shots for 14 points. Kevin Durant, 26 shots to get 28 points. That is how you want to defend when you're playing against them. That's almost the perfect way to guard them and what you want to see when you look at it. Central Stampede would be dope. It's definitely a dope idea. But like I said, I doubt that man knows I exist because he has such a big channel. The trust from DeMar to give Zoe the dagger when Zoe had been struggling all night shows you how tight this team is. Absolutely. This team is building camaraderie. They trust each other. They have fun out there. When you even look at like how they are on the bench and how excited they get when LaVine's on the bench and he sees DeMar or Zoe make a good play, how excited Zoe gets and how This team just has come together so quickly, and they're playing greater probably than the sum of their parts, especially defensively. Other than the two failed fast break plays that got me real frustrated, yeah, he played solid, right? He's not, you don't look for him to do a lot, but he did great things in the time that he was out there. Great things. Both fans need to stop overreacting. People, his offense game is non-existent. He has mid-range games that he never uses, doesn't want to shoot, and isn't assertive enough. First of all, it's not overrating. Again, this is another example of somebody looking for the quick, easy. Yes, P. Will's offense, but guess what? We have the luxury of we don't need P. Will's offense right now. We are at the point where he has the luxury of developing and refining his offense for the next 3 to 4 years, right? 3 years, 2 to 3 years is what you want to see. And slowly build that up, right? He doesn't have to be a scorer. He doesn't have to do all that. Now, the assertiveness, you do, especially when he gets open shots, he passes away. You do want to see him work on the assertiveness. He's 20 years old. 20, right? Out there playing with a player like DeMar DeRozan, who's been great for his career, a player like Zach LaVine, a player like Vooch. He's 20 years old. Give him some time. It's not overrating him. He's a great defensive player with a high potential. Now, potential isn't always realized, but it's not overrating. He doesn't need to be an offensive dominant player right now. We don't need that. And it's funny that so many people talk about how good Javonte Green isn't nearly. Now, he does have more assertiveness. We want to see P. Will get that, but he doesn't have to score a lot at all. Bulls balls out. What's up, bro? What's going on? DeMar hit big mid-range all night. Look, DeMar embarrasses people out there. That spin move that he has a lot of different variations to it, but that spin, that up and under spin combination, and then shoots it, and every time he does it, I'm like, damn, was he even able to see the basket? And it like goes in nothing but net. DeMar DeRozan the best mid-range player in the NBA? That's a question. Let me know what you guys think about that. I really like that they staying aggressive with their hands. Absolutely. Heads up, playing great ball. Everything there. DeMar's become my favorite player of the season. Too silky every time he hits a mid-range shot. I'm amazed. Listen, DeMar's out there to prove that. I really think that DeMar being called the most overrated offseason pickup really made him come into the season like, all right, y'all think you already got me with the Kawhi thing, right? The Kawhi thing after the Raptors, blaming the Raptors not being able to get over the hump on DeMar, I think really got to him, right? And he was able to refine his game in San Antonio. Then he joins a team, and they're like, oh, he's the most overrated. He's washed up. Nobody wanted him. And he's like, all right, listen, I gave y'all the Kawhi thing. He was a better player than me. They won a title. Okay. But y'all saying that I was the most overrated pickup? I got something for y'all asses this season. That's what I choose to believe. I'm somebody who always has a chip on my shoulder, so I understand. Yeah, Zoe didn't play well, but his defense is what makes him key to our success. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, how can I contact you? Email. The email is bullscentralpod@gmail.com. That's bullscentralpod@gmail.com. I don't have like a graphic prepared for me to bring up here. I need to refine like my live stream game. You can tell DeRozan just wanted to be aggressive because he knew the team wanted that. Absolutely. Absolutely. LaVine loves that deep step back three, and he hits it. Right, I think they made fun of me because in one video I was like, he hit that shit from Steph Curry range, and people were like, "Is that what we're calling it, bro?" But absolutely, that's what it is. That's what it is. IO better than D-Rose or D-Wade. Hell no, man. Listen, hey, I get people again, and then if IO has like a bad couple of games, oh, he's just a second round pick. I can't believe anybody thought he was going to be more than that. You know, fans overreact. Their fans are already making excuses for the team. Hey, it happens. It happens. Go fucking Bears. Go that shit up, bro. Listen, I love the Bears. I absolutely love the Chicago Bears. I've rooted for them forever, but they stress me the fuck out. My beard is going to be gray after I start the Bears content. I guarantee you, half gray by the end of the first season. I'm covering the Bears. Just watch. Don't start a Bears channel. You don't want to go through that pain. Listen, bro, I love the Bears, man. But yeah, the beard is definitely going to be great. I am going to skip. I apologize. I'm going to skip some of you guys' comments just because I want to catch up and get more recent. I've let myself get behind. This is one of the biggest streams that we've done, so I do apologize. I want to get kind of more current. Let me go to this one. The greatest. Would you sacrifice Kobe's future for a big man in a trade? Because I think this group can win now, to be honest. If it depends on who they get. If needed, if the team just says, hey, if they have the perfect piece for us and they say, Kobe, we don't start the conversation unless Kobe's on the deal. Then you have to make that deal. Only thing I could push back on the Bulls fans are they think that the only way the Bulls can improve the four is by trading Kobe. That's what I've pushed back on. But if it's the perfect deal, you got to do it. You got to do it at this point because the Bulls are ready to win the title. And you kind of, if they can make the deal that opens that window up this season, you have to make it. And the only reason why I say that, and this is to knock on wood, this is not to say it's going to happen, but don't forget, DeMar could start taking a step back the longer he's on this contract, right? And because of that, you want to start getting prepared for if he does regress. At his age, it starts happening soon. But he's again with the way DeMar plays, especially in the mid range, and he doesn't. He's very athletic, but his game isn't relying on athleticism. DeMar can play like this for quite a while. But I'm just saying, if worst case scenario again. Love how people saying DeMar has a resurgence in his career. He's been all-star caliber every season, and now he's taking more shots with the same efficiently all-star starter. Yeah, I think at this point, LaVine and DeMar absolutely have to be all-stars. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Greetings from the Bulls Connect Facebook group. Love your content. Keep it up, C-Red. I appreciate you, bro. I'm in a lot of Bulls content Facebook groups because I was in them before I started the podcast, but now that I have this, I'm like, I might as well promote it in there because I love talking Bulls. Look at our remaining games for December. If we keep up our momentum, we can go either 11-0 max or 8-3 minimum. You don't want to say minimum just because of things with players being out and stuff, but it is what it is. Let's see. Remember when people called DeRozan overpaid? Yes. Isn't that crazy? And now he's leading the league in fourth quarter point. And then the Bulls are like ninth in like clutch possessions or something like that. I read. This is really the realest thing I've heard in a minute. What's that? I skipped ahead. If I missed something, I apologize. I don't know what they comments to. Are we not going to talk about Zoe lockdown? We talked about that. We talked about Zoe's lockdown defense to start. I think that's how I started the stream, is talking about how he played on Harden. So yeah, we've talked about that. And it absolutely was lockdown and great D. Raptors fan here. Love DeRozan. Hope he gets a ring. Hey, from your mouth to God's ears. Do we trade Pat? No, we don't trade Pat. We don't trade Pat. Bulls for life. What's up, bro? What's going on? One thing that I will say, right, is that I get why so many people are asking about trading Pat, but I really do think like we didn't see the version of Pat that we got last season. Let's take a look at what we can talk about this for a little while we build up more questions. Patrick Williams went from playing on a wing to the 4, which is already a step in a change in who you're defending. And he had to do that because DeMar can't guard 4s. And you know what happened. So he went from guarding the usually the other team's best perimeter player to now he's guarding big men. That is a huge step, especially for a 20-year-old. To come into the season with your first major injury, then to keep getting nagging injuries after that, it definitely hurt him to start the season. We didn't get to see the defensive confidence that we saw in Patrick Williams. Now, it's funny because I felt like the game that he went out was probably the most that he started showing aggression with shooting open shots and stuff like that. So I think it was coming around. But let's keep in mind just the fact that a 19-year-old, that's what he was doing at the time, was guarding very often the other team's best perimeter player. You don't give up on that potential. Even if he ends up just being a great defensive player who only gets 9 points per game or something like that, that's still worth keeping throughout his rookie deal to see, just to see how he continues to develop. That's my opinion. I'm not saying everybody should share that opinion, but that is my opinion. It's not looking like the Portland is making the playoffs, so do we need to trade that pick? I mean, if you can get, the only thing is like, well, it's lottery protected either way, but we trust that AK can do something with any pick, right? That he picks. It just depends. It's an asset. It's an asset. There's other teams that probably will want it. If that's what you need to do to solidify a championship run, you fucking do it. Period. Do you see those Bulls in your front yard? I guarantee you, people from Chicago are going to start using this. Oh man. Who should replace Patrick Williams long term if he's traded? I'm not getting into that conversation. Not getting into that. Why do people keep suggesting the man has 7-foot wingspan and would help us in the playoffs, especially in the lineup with Lonzo? Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, and again, because of the offensive efficiency of all other four starters, right? Because again, what Zoe does with shooting, Patrick Williams is almost the perfect player to play that, right? To play in that. He is. And then he can learn from DeMar. Eventually, probably when as DeMar is leaving, Patrick Williams will move back to the 3 or something like that. You don't give up on that. You don't give up on that. In my opinion. Again, my opinion. I might have missed it, but following Zach career from 2014, dude has matured, man. Just want to win big time. Zach LaVine has turned himself, if you look, from being the athletic dunker, right, to the complete play. Zach LaVine may be the most complete the most complete shooting guard in the league. Now with what his improvement on defense, he may be the most complete. And the thing is, he's still young. What is Zach LaVine, 26 years old? And not that he's going to like make any more huge leaps, but as he just adds and the game continues to get easier for him, and he just adds little things to his game, little refinements, Zach is going to be great for a long time to come, and hopefully do that in a Bulls jersey. Pat Will just out of sight, out of mind. No way I'm trading him. He got hurt. Exactly. You don't trade that potential. Chicago needs something historical to happen for the city, and I believe this team can do it. I mean, the thing is keep in mind, this is Chicago. Even if the Bulls go on a deep playoff run and play hard and get eliminated, that's going to be so big for this. And imagine the excitement coming in. Just look at the excitement this season before we knew what we had. The excitement next season is going to be crazy. People saying trade P. Will like he don't have potential to be just as good, if not a little bit better than Zach and DeMar. I mean, we need to say that we do need to start seeing offense from him at some point. But he has the potential to be a transcendent defensive player. You don't give up that potential for anything. If he can add, if Pat Williams can even add, like I said, 10, 12 to 15 points per game to what he can do defensively, that's not a player that you give up. Pat might become a good player, but I don't see a star. Yeah, I can agree with that. He has potential to be a star, but again, potential isn't always hit. It's not always realized. Patrick Williams has so much potential. Hell no, I don't trade him. Again, it depends on what the trade is for. For example, I hate throwing these hypotheticals. This is why I don't do these type of videos, because I hate thinking about this. But let me just say, if a superstar power forward, fairly young, let's say player that's around the same age as Zach LaVine, I don't know who that is, superstar power forward, and they say two first round picks, Patrick Williams, and a future first as well, get you this player. You probably do it because that's if they're already a star or superstar, you probably do it because you're ready to win now. But I'm not saying that you should aim to do that. I'm just saying if that deal comes along, you have to answer that call and take a look. But Patrick, I would not be making any calls out to try to get rid of Patrick Williams. Zach isn't even in his prime. That's what's so scary, right? That is what's so scary about this team. So scary. You just gonna keep leaving this comment, bro. I usually don't do this, but you've been on my channel for so long, and I see you keep leaving this comment. So I'm gonna leave. Zach loves that deep step back three. Yes, he does love the deep step back three. Now don't leave that goddamn comment anymore, bro. I mean that all in fun, bro. What the keys to beating Nuggets on Monday? The keys to every Bulls game are pretty much going to be the same. Play hard, move the ball around on offense, stay focused on defense, don't try to do too much, and at the end of the day, it's going to probably be letting Joker go off and making everyone else beat you. That's going to be the key. I know that San Antonio just won 4 in a row, including Golden State. Is there any possibility that they buy out? Again, if they buy out that Thad, he can't come here. So Thad would have to get traded to another team, and that team buy him out for the Bulls to be able to sign him. Because the Bulls traded him to San Antonio, if they buy him out, the Bulls cannot sign him. They cannot sign him. P. Will never be an all-star. I'm calling it now. Trade him. Again, just because he's never an all-star doesn't mean that he's still not a great player to the team, right? It depends on the makeup of the team. So again, come on. And him and Kobe in the first don't get you Christian Wood. Again, Kobe's trade value is at an all-time low. Patrick Williams' trade value is probably, unless the Houston Rockets just see See Patrick Williams and Kobe as key pieces to the rebuild, that's not going to get you in the door for Christian Wood. So try again. Go back to the drawing board, come back with a better deal. Need to extend. I mean, clearly, this whole season, this whole makeup of the team is all about getting Zach LaVine extended, and probably going to do it. Christian Wood is a bad defender. I think both Pat Will and Lonzo need to learn from DeMar so that when DeMar's time is over, you can have multiple players that can help LaVine putting out the same production as DeMar is. I mean, that's happening. You see the impact that DeMar is having on Zach LaVine. You see that. As far as Zoe, again, Zoe has scoring capability. He's just not his role in this team. If DeMar does go away for anything, and if needed, we know that he probably has that potential. Who do we trade for? Nobody, because Thompson is probably going to be bought out. You just wait to get him on the buyout market. If that's your guy, you probably just wait for that. My prediction is that when Pat Will returns to the playoffs, he's going to go off and show why he's a top 4 pick. I wouldn't be surprised. DVD laughing at me. I had to fuck with you, bro. I had to fuck with you, man. And the thing is, anyone who is in multiple streams, I feel like we have a relationship, so I feel comfortable throwing little jokes as you. Whereas if it's somebody's the first time or me noticing them on the stream, I wouldn't throw any jokes their way because I don't want to turn them off. But like you've been here, so I'm gonna fuck with you from time to time. The Nuggets are Joker and a G League team. Damn, best impact shit. Okay. Let me guess. Bulls fans are mad as hell, and low-key 76 fans want us to trade. What? If Kyrie doesn't return with the decline of Harden, Chicago can come out the East this year. Keep in mind Philly. We just don't match up. Joel Embiid owns our asses. He just does. But with that being said, I think they absolutely can come out. I think they can come out the East regardless. They can, right? They have that possibility and that potential. They need to figure out something to do with the zone. We didn't see a lot of zone thrown the Bulls' way today. And Philly matchup problems. But yeah, I give the Bulls a fighting chance against anyone in this league. No one on the Bulls. It's not about that. See, this is the thing. This is where it comes to real basketball fans. It's never about, at this point, there are players that can't be guarded or stopped one-on-one. It's not about that. But guess what the Bulls can do? They can guard everyone else around. Giannis can only, even if Giannis scores 80 points, right? That's probably not going to be enough to beat the Bulls. You don't have to stop Giannis. You have to play solid defense against Giannis, of course. But the key to the game plan and the way that great defensive teams play is that they kind of allow the best player to do their thing, and they stop everything else that the team's doing and disrupt everything else around that player. So that argument is never going to hit with me. Caruso will never be an all-star, but we know how much he means to the exactly. People are so they're so quick in the case of like a Kobe or Patrick Williams to want to see the player get to the perfect version of themselves that they forget, hey, even if they don't hit the ceiling, right? Players have the highest potential of their ceiling. If they don't hit that, it doesn't mean they still can't be a contributor. I think also it's that Bulls fandom PTSD that we have. Because we weren't working for something so long and we had so many first-round picks that didn't really turn into much that now people just think that that's the key. That's the answer to everything. It's not. People can be what Carlos Boozer was. We got a gem. And he's already better than Carlos Boozer defensively, right? Was hoping Troy Brown did a little better. Still has potential, though. Yeah, I had high hopes for Troy Brown Jr. coming into this season, but hey, it is what it is. Once we traded for Derrick Jones Jr., you kind of saw the writing on the wall there. Troy Brown Jr. didn't play well. And that was, of course, Patrick Williams. So if Patrick Williams was still available, Troy Brown Jr. wouldn't have a chance in hell. It's so good seeing this team succeed. We've come a long way from seeing Clay make history on us. Boy, that game hurt, man, right? Especially with the way that the Warriors were just like, oh, we're going to get Clay the record. Like, fuck who we're playing against. Like, that was bad. Wendell Carter Jr. and picks got Vooch. Why can't we get that? Why can't that get Wood? Again, completely different situations. Everything isn't one-to-one, right, in the NBA. Wendell Carter Jr., as much as he didn't get to the level that the Bulls wanted him to get to, that us as fans wanted him to get to, showed enough flashes. And the Magic were ready to go on a full rebuild. So the fact that they got a first-round pick, a couple of them, the fact that they got a young center with some potential that they saw starting to the starter for them. It's not the same as saying P. Will and Kobe go out and get Christian. Christian Wood is he's not as old as Vooch is. He's on a more cap friendly deal than Vooch, which means that it opens more teams up to being able to trade for him. And again, they may very well keep Christian Wood because he's still fairly young. So it's a different situation there. Yeah, hell yeah, if the right deal comes, trade him. Lonzo Ball layup package needs serious. Well, if because I trust he's going to do it, right? So I'm speaking from the place that I trust. As my dogs start fighting, I trust that he's going to get work that out and get that to his game. If you look at the way he transformed the shot, I do trust that Lonzo is going to add a layup package and be more solid around the rim. Once he gets that to open up his game compared with the 40 to pair with the 40% three-point shooting, boy, listen here. That's going to open up so many lanes to other players as well as just for him. Yeah. Toughest playoff team that the Bulls can match up. Philly. On God, that called family. I'm missing what you respond to. I skipped ahead some, so I apologize. So the question of Trip Pack, so if Grant or Siakam become available, it's no, Grant, no, because I think Patrick Williams can develop to be maybe better than Grant. Siakam, I wouldn't be mad at it. That's what I'll say. I wouldn't be mad at it. What are the chances our big three, Zach, DeMar, and Vooch, if they keep playing this? Vooch would have to get back on track more consistently. I definitely think if he keeps playing well, right? And this game wasn't the best, but if he keeps playing like he has the last few games, that absolutely Vooch, especially as a center in the East, can definitely make an all-star game. But DeMar and LaVine are locked in. Something would have to go extremely, extremely left for them not to. Bucks and Sixers are toughest competition in the East, and it's not even close. I think the question was more matchup. I think the Bulls match up well against the Bucks. We don't match up well at all against the Sixers, and that's been evident and shown. This is a great week to bounce back after dropping those games to Houston, Indiana. I mean, last week was our bounce back week too. Like, let's not forget we had a pretty good week last week. But yeah, I agree. Outside of this season, how long do you think we should keep Vooch? It depends on what he's willing to re-sign for, right? He has one more year on his deal after this season, maybe two. If he's able to re-sign for a much more cap-friendly, let's say $8 to $12 million, I think you keep him. And it depends on Marko Simonovic too. Like, right? If Marko, this year, we know he's not. If he adds to his game, builds up his body some, and is ready to actually be on the main roster and playing in regular season games next year, that's a question to see how does being around Vooch helps him develop. And depends on how the Bulls draft and free agency as well. But once Vooch is up for free agency, what he's willing to re-sign for versus what else is on the market, I think is going to be telling there. I feel like the Nuggets are fully healthy, are the best team in the Western Conference. Bull and the other teams are lucky that they don't have to deal with that. Yeah. I mean, look at what they did last year, but they were the best team in the league last year, and look at what they did in the playoffs. So it's all about matchups in the playoffs, not just about who's the better team all the time. Zosd was great tonight. We needed him to step up when Caruso left the game. He was active tonight and helped keep Chicago. He's active every night. Let's be clear. Zoe's defense is just as good as Caruso. The fact that we have those two there is great. Make the best player work on both sides of the ball, tire them out. Absolutely. As great as this team looks, how do you think they'll match up with teams with dominant bigs come playoff time? Having the four guards around the ball like Vooch looks like short. Okay, so yes, it's absolutely deficit on defense. But look at what that does to the Bulls on offense. Yes, we give up offensive rebounding, which gets the second chance points. But as far as guarding the Bulls, with the way that we play with a small ball lineup, it really does open up a lot of offensive game. Like, that's why I said if we get another four that can hit open shots with the way that the Bulls starters play, even if it is another technically four player, a small player, and he has to play some small ball center, it's really going to be difficult on both sides. So like it just depends on, because the Bulls have been so good with team defense and what they gain on offense playing small ball, it hasn't hurt us as much as I thought it was going to in the season. It has hurt us in games. It has hurt us in stretches in games, especially when we lose leads. but overall, it hasn't been as big of a deficit as I thought that it would be. I feel like Caruso would definitely make second team defense this year, though. Definitely, probably. I like that. No, Chief, put Caruso on Giannis. He'll find a way to guard. But hey, Zoe can probably. I'm not again. Nobody can guard Giannis 1-on-1 on this team, but have Zoe rotate on him some. I think he can frustrate him some. Caruso being out there, I think. Hell, with the way, dude, let's talk about this. Did you see the way Derrick Jones Jr. guarded Kevin Durant on some stretches? If Derrick Jones Jr. is better defensively than we thought, and is able to do that against Kevin Durant, and again, not stop anyone 1-on-1 or anything, but play solid defensive minutes and stay with them, that is a whole different ball game for the Bulls in a positive way. If the Lakers offer LeBron for Zach LaVine, should the Bulls take that? No. No. I think Kobe Jones Brown can get us Jeremy Grant. Yeah, but Jeremy Grant doesn't get us much of anything. That doesn't do shit for us. Jeremy Grant does not solve the Bulls' issues at all. Matter of fact, in that trade, if you're talking about giving up Derrick Jones Jr. as well, no, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm going to bed, LO. Fuck the Knicks as always. Boys, good night. Bulls Nation, Bing Bong. Good night, bro. I appreciate you, Beowulf, for showing up. Bulls need to trade. No, right there. You started off with need. No, they don't need to trade Kobe. There's value, though. But again, you're saying, think about what you just said. Bulls need to trade Kobe. I know his value's low. Those two things don't go hand in hand. So no, they don't need to trade Kobe. Like, we got to get off that mindset. The worst thing that could have possibly happened is at the start of the season, somebody came out and said the Bulls may be interested in trading Kobe, right? Because Bulls fans have become so short-sighted after that and just hang everything up on Bulls trading Kobe. No. And then talk about playing D. Kobe's been playing pretty solid team D as well with most of the team. Again, not the greatest one-on-one defender, but he has shown an improvement on the team D, and that goes to the scheme. No, come on, man. Come on. I think we will beat the Sixers as long as Kormaz doesn't keep turning. Listen, the fact that, and the Bulls do that too, on almost every game, it's that it's a player on the other team that you wouldn't expect to kill us that absolutely kills us. Sorry, I didn't just mean to give the church finger, but you know what it is. Had to lubricate. How far into the future do you see this team going? DeRozan is key, but he's 32, and compared to how he moved in his Raptor days, I don't think he has too much get. Wait a second. You're saying that a player that's leading the league in fourth quarter points scored, that you don't think he has gas left? Again, he's going to decline at some point, probably, and while he's on this deal. But that to say he doesn't have much gas left, come on, bro. You're trying to make your argument with points that aren't really valid. As far as how team, I mean, we know what this team's window is. Caruso, even Lonzo, and DeMar, all on basically 3-year deals. That's the Bulls' window with this team right now. That doesn't mean that it can't be extended depending on if they re-sign it, how else they fill out the roster. But right now, with this version of the team, our window's 3 years. And key, I say this version of the team, because with Zach on the team, again, how they rebuild around him after those players are off their deals could extend that window. But I'm saying with this version of this team, LeBron is 37. Exactly. J.R. Jeffries, I was wrong. Bulls won. Yeah, you were wrong, brother. You were wrong. I wish Vooch can pick and roll post up more rather than shooting middies and threes. I think that's the way the offense is designed, because he sometimes does go down low. I think that's just what the way that Billy Donovan is choosing to run this offense. If we're being 100% honest, no, Bobo. No, we don't need. First of all, if you started off with we need, you're wrong. Absolutely wrong. As far as ball, listen, the kid has potential. The Bulls don't. If we're talking about trying to win a title now, the Bulls don't need another potential project. And again, with balls, when you look at the way that his body's made up, his size, his frame, players like that do not historically stay healthy. They don't. It's just a human body isn't made to contain all that. The Bulls don't need him at all. At Bulls on the players continue to struggle. He's definitely a player I think will become available. Covington fits like a glove on this team. It's just about what a fair deal. Exactly. Covington does project, if you look at it, to be very much what the Bulls need in a lot of ways. Just depends on it. Is there a chance we can land? I mean, anything's a chance. It depends on what the Kings do. It seems like he's being featured now, as far as like he's being shown a little bit more to up his trade value. But hey, it is what it is. No, can we kill this narrative? I don't. Are you responding to the Marvin Bagley one? Is that what it is? Yeah, I hate that we lock the team star player, but one particular role player destroys us himself. Yeah, they need to fix that. They need to fix it. That's bad. That's bad. How the hell does this net team have 16 wins? Harden is just all over the place. I mean, they don't always play like this, but coming off a back-to-back, and you have a defender like Lonzo guarding you, that's always going to be the recipe for a down game. Always, always. Thank you. Ball. I hate that. I hate that. Need a rebound. No, we don't need the center, first of all. We need a power forward that can play some. The thing with this is we see Derrick Jones Jr. playing center. So the thing is that almost anyone the Bulls bring in, if they're a big, they're going to play some center, but it doesn't have to be a center. It doesn't have to be a center. Not afraid of any power forward that isn't Giannis or KD, and KD is a small forward anyway. The real goal with our forward is someone like Siakam who matches up physically. Pat is that, not trading him unless we really get that. I can understand that. Why do Ninja's role players turn into Klay Thompson against us? I have no idea, bro. None. I'm looking at these comments. To be honest, they missed Vooch a lot tonight. Nets were switching everything, and our ball handlers didn't recognize the mismatch sooner. We do that at times. Patty Mills guarding Vooch should be at. And the Bulls do that at times. That's a Jonathan Washington Jr. That is a great observation. They absolutely do that, and it's concerning. But hopefully, this team will continue to figure it out. Zoe Lockhart. Zoe gotten Harden. Like I said, I don't know if they've ever had any type of beef or negative anything between them, but you can see there are certain plays where like Harden would push him a little bit afterwards. Like he would give him a little one. Like, and hats off to Zoe for not letting that get in his head. Zoe just kept guarding the shit out of him, which is what you needed to do. No, they didn't need to sign. And DeMarcus Cousins, again, health is a concern for him. He hasn't always played the greatest. He really wouldn't have fixed a lot of our issues either. Harden fucked his body up trying to get out of Houston. He took his own prime. Listen, that boy, it's like Homer, right? Homer Simpson in the fat. Remember that episode of The Simpsons? This is way, way back, right? Where he got super fat on purpose. That's what Harden did. We played the Sixers 2 more times and Milwaukee 4 times. I believe that we can win the last 2 against the Sixers and 3 against Milwaukee 5-1. From your mouth to God's ears. But I really do. I will say this: when the Bulls play Philly again, I will be looking specifically at what have they changed and how they play against that team, because Philly, they own us right now. We don't play Philly again till February. Is that right? Oh, well, the Bulls have quite a bit of time to figure it out, right? We'll be a completely different team firing on all cylinders by then, hopefully. Clearly, you're stating the obvious there. Bring back Haize. I would love Haize. Haize and Thad Young, or either one of those two, would have been the perfect power forward to have on this team. It sucks. Larry Nance as well. I will say this: if the Bulls somehow would, but the thing is, if we would have gotten Larry Nance, we wouldn't have gotten Derrick Jones Jr. But yeah, fire sale for the Blazers coming up. Count on it. The only thing with that, if that does happen, that means we're definitely not getting their pick, right? So it's like, do you want a player from the Blazers? Do you want Larry Nance from the Blazers? Or would you rather have their pick? Which one is it? LaVine's improvement defense. I keep saying this. I'm eventually going to do a video. I'm waiting for more and more analysis. But eventually I'm going to do a video just talking about Zach's improvement on defense. Eventually. Laughing my ass off, Homer. I'm telling you, bro. Homer. James Harden is the Homer Simpson of the NBA. Book it. That's my quote from this live stream. Would you say DeRozan has been a much better player than LaVine so far? No, I don't think he's been a better player. He's been better in the fourth. He's been more controlled, and he's a veteran. He's playing like a veteran who's been in the playoffs before. But as far as the better overall player, just the smoothness and ways Zach does it on all 3 levels. I have to still say LaVine's the better player, but DeRozan's been great. Hope the players wait until the offseason to have their fire sale. Listen, that's what I hope too. I hope that, especially with Damian Lillard, that they wait until like the draft. Do we think CJ McCollum is going to be gone? I know this is not really a Bulls topic, but you got to think that if they do want to do a fire sale, if they still want to try to retool rather than reboot, to quote great Bulls GM, great my ass. But if they want to retool rather than rebuild the team, you have to think that they can get quite a bit for CJ McCollum, depending on what. Like, imagine like Lakers don't really have a lot to give, but you would think that CJ McCollum can get them a lot of things to rebuild in, especially since they have Anthony Simmons who maybe can step into that role. I think every time he drives, yeah, he's turned into a lazy player. Lazy player. I was at that Bears Packers game every time. Every time Usain B owns us, keep thinking about Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, put somebody with graphical skills. If you can put Joel Embiid's head on Aaron Rodgers' body when he was saying that, send that to me. Send that to me. We can trade Kobe White to the Blazers. For who though? Keep in mind he's not on a super big deal either. But for who? Cousins is actually washed. I agree with that. Thies would Tice. I would say Thies. Tice would be perfect. He would absolutely be perfect. That's what I keep saying, Matthias. That's absolutely what I keep saying. Stop with the unrealistic trade targets. Kobe's not redundant. First of all, again, Bulls have been fluctuated between 27th to 29th in bench scoring. Kobe White, if he can get back to even where he was last season, a 40% shooter that can get you 14 points a game off the bench, no, that's not redundant. We need bench scoring. Now, Io may be able to give us that. I'm not, admittedly, but I'm just saying, don't redundant is too strong of a word there. Get that off the wood and bring him back. Oh man. Listen, this is when people Zach does do the thing where he bounces the ball off his foot, and he plays turnovers, but it's a lot better than what it was last season. It's even way better than it was 2 seasons ago. So yeah, he's learning behind DeMar. He's gonna learn some things, but what does that mean? Zach's still one of the best shooting guards in the league. So it is what it is. What's Patrick Williams' upside? Star potential. But again, all potential isn't realized. But he has that potential, yes. Why do we want Kobe gone so bad? If you saw, that's exactly what I just said. Yeah, Kobe White is definitely one of those players who, if we do trade him, I would not at all be surprised, especially if he goes to a team where he's able to just kind of score off the bench and do something. For example, you think of like, again, this can happen on this team, right? So again, this can happen on this team if Kobe puts it together. But if Kobe's traded to a team, let's just say Washington, for example, and can be the third guard off the bench and he can go the fuck off, we'll regret trading him for sure. Despite the Warriors and Suns hot start, if you had the choice for coach of the year, would it be Billy Donovan? I mean, yeah, but I'm a Bulls fan, so that doesn't mean anything. Love from France said, yeah, crazy game, definitely. All right, so we are going to go 7 more minutes to get to the hour and a half mark. So get your questions, your thoughts in now. We're going to go for 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Do you think we're a good 3-point shooting team, or should we take less threes as it's? No, we're definitely a good 3-point shooting team overall. When we're hitting them, I mean, look at Zach, look at Lonzo, what Vooch can do. DeMar can even hit him when he's open. It depends on what we do with the 4 and who ends up starting there. But no, we're a solid 3-pointer. We probably need to take more threes, honestly. How many threes did we take this game? I know for a while there we were like low in the league as far as 3 points attempted, which was surprising. For Bulls took 31 threes this game. That's about where you want us to be at. I would say that's probably where you want us to be at. Out of those 31 threes, we made 10 of them. So we shot 32.3% from 3. You want that percentage to go up, but that's about how many attempts a game you want to see us take, I would think. Bulls think, yeah, I know, right? People come with 2K trades. There was somebody in the comments, one live stream, I think it was a video, not a live stream, and the guy was like, yeah, I traded for this player on 2K, and the Bulls were undefeated after I did this trade. And it's like, really, bro? That's the argument you're bringing. It's still going to get minutes. Calm the fuck down. Why shouldn't he shoot threes? Well played. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Biggest takeaway from this game that have so the Bulls have so much fucking heart and they play better than the sum of their parts. And if the bench, imagine the bench playing like this with Caruso, that the bench really in a lot of ways determines how easy the game's going to be because how that keep that defensive intensity up because we don't have a lot of great scorers on the bench. So they kind of have to get in transition to make the buckets easy for them. When the bench plays great defense as well and gets easy transition buckets and playing with their head up, it completely changes the outlook of the game. So definitely. I love that you do these streams after games. Keep them up if you can fit them in your schedule. Obviously, yeah, I'm going to be doing them more times than not. So you guys called for it. I put up the vote. It was 80%. They were like, do live streams. And I said, should I do live streams after the game or should I do halftime streams? I've been doing both of them. So you guys, you got both of them. So it is what it is. I love doing these. I love interacting with you guys. Seriously. Again, I'm more focused on the buyout market than the trade market, in my opinion. It's really killer. This person is resilient as hell and wants to get better. He really is my favorite player right now besides Caruso. I agree with everything you said there. Io's heart, his determination, he moves intelligently as well when he's playing good. Yeah, absolutely. Hot take, that will return next year for the vet minimum. I can absolutely see that happen, especially if the Bulls, let's say, God forbid, they don't make any deals for the 4, right? Or even if they do wait for the buyout. Let's say they wait, they get a candidate to fill in now for the buyout, and then they sign that to a 2-year deal or something like that instead of re-signing whoever they get on the buyout. You can absolutely see that. And I would like Thad Young also because he can start or he can come off the bench. Patrick Williams can learn from him. I like that. I like that idea a lot. The only team that match well with the Bulls are the Heat. Match well? You mean like in their favor? Because I think Philly would have a word. Trade for. That's all I got to say to that one. I mean, what I'm suggesting is within the realm possibility. We don't need a super. Yeah, we don't need a superstar. I mean, just because things are possible, don't mean that they're plausible or that they will happen. Spurs knocked off the Warriors today, and we beat the Nets. Life is good. Let's hot start with Vooch and later end with on Zach and DeMar. Don't quite know what you're getting at there. Fantastic job. Love the stream. Thank you. Thank you, Sweetwater. I appreciate you, man. A guy I really wanted the Bulls to trade for earlier this offseason was Dorian Finley-Smith from Dallas, solid perimeter shooter with good size, play defense. Would you bring him in at the 4? Again, players like that, especially he's not too old either. I don't know what the Bulls would have to give up. And it's not like Dallas is just looking to unload people who are solid either. So we'll see. We'll see. Kevin Hart playing at center? Bro, you tired? Is that what it is? You tired? No question. Just appreciate for your insight all the way from Zimbabwe. Stayed up to watch that game in the Nets for this. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Especially staying up from there. I really do appreciate that. We do need to cut more of the bench players because that is how they score. Our bench players are not scorers. They need to start cutting. It's not just cutting, right? It's more than just cutting, right? You just be out there cutting, you ain't going to do shit. It's about playing with that intensity defense. It's about getting into transition. Caruso is going to get people the ball. Io's showing that his ability to get people the ball. Absolutely. Absolutely. They need to move with intention. Sweeping the NYCA teams in one season just give us a championship already. From your mouth to God's ears. Is Tristan Thompson really going to the Bulls? I mean, no. But you have to think if he is bought out, like I've been saying for a while, any power forward at this point, or player who can play the power forward, you have to think that the Bulls are high on their priority list as far as like options if they're bought out. You have to think that going to the Bulls is probably high on their list because they can see an instant fit. If they are only going to sign for 1-year deal, they can come into a team that is contending and show something, probably up their value in free agency as well. It's a lot of reasons why teams should choose the Bulls if they're a power forward. We should be look for more, especially on those switches, leaving with mid. Yeah, they missed them on some mismatches today for sure. We don't need anybody. We need Christian Wood and Thad Young. No, we don't need any of them. It would be nice to have Thad Young. Christian Wood is probably not. And Taco Fall. Come on, man. Io's just more confident player than Kobe. That's why I'm not so big on White. And Io shows he's clearly a better defender than White. He is a very, and I get it. I get what you're getting at with that. When Pat comes back, what's the best second unit to play in your opinion? I mean, we don't play very deep in the second unit, so that's easy. Caruso, absolutely. Io, I think at this point you have to say Derrick Jones Jr. if he's not starting by then. And yeah, again, if P. Will comes back this season in the playoffs, I don't expect him to get more than 15 minutes per game. I just don't. What do you think could be available in the Derek Favors, Tristan Thompson? I talked about this before. There are some other people. There are quite a bit of people who could be available in the buyout market. I just kept Bulls to stay away from Kevin Love, please. No Kevin Love. When we make it to the second round of playoffs, we'll have trouble if Lonzo can only score from three. No. Again, no. This the way the team plays now. If that was on the Bulls right now, shit would be crazy. Crazy. Bro, you have me rolling up. Hey, listen, this is the thing that I don't show very often is because now, like I said, so many of you guys have been in my live streams. This is like our 5th or 6th live stream for so long. I feel comfortable throwing little jokes your way. When I first started doing these live streams, we try to be so professional, but at this point now, I feel very comfortable throwing jokes your guys' way. So I love you guys, man. I really do. It's not that he's not possible. The Bulls could trade for him. They just can't sign him if he's bought out. But he's absolutely if the Bulls, for example, if the Spurs were let's say the Spurs were gonna buy him out, right? Let's say the Spurs are gonna buy out Thad Young, and instead the Bulls say, we don't really have any second round picks, but instead the Bulls say, hey, AK, heard through the grapevine, you're gonna this is AK. AK says, hey, I heard through the grapevine, you guys are gonna be buying out Thad Young. I know this isn't the best, but I have this Troy Brown Jr. contract. It expires at the end of the year, so it's no long-term deal. How about instead of buying him out, you trade him back to us because we can't re-sign him. If something like that happens, we can absolutely get him. No more questions for me, but before you go, just remember, on the road to 58 wins, I got you, Key Isaac F's. Got you for sure, man. I'm telling you, and Derek Favors is a great offensive rebounder too, which is something that we don't have a lot. If they can do that, yeah. No, I'd rather have Thad Young. I'm saying no. Stay away from Kevin Love. I don't care if Kevin Love gets bought out and he says, Bulls, I will give you $1 million to sign me. Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. Player of the game. This game is Ayo Dosunmu. That's who I'm giving my player of the game for this game. And DeMar, but yeah. Do you think getting a new player will disrupt the flow of the roster? I feel like the way that this team is played, right? One player, no, it's not going to disrupt the flow of the roster. It's not. Now, if they get to, and again, we're thinking that if the Bulls do make a trade, it's more so going to probably be built around picks and some of the pieces because we have some expiring contracts rather than giving up a major piece for that. And considering the way that the Bulls have played and faced adversity, losing starters and everything before, bringing in one player, no, I don't think so. Milwaukee's not giving up Bobby Portis. Ain't no point in talking about that. No point in talking about it. Anyway, the Bulls, man, listen, what the fuck are you thinking? What? Anyway, the Bulls trade. Why the fuck would the Bulls trade Alex? You give me right now 2 good reasons why the Bulls would trade Alex Caruso, and I will buy you lunch. You smoking some good shit tonight. Whatever you smoking, whatever it is, send some my way, please, because clearly you high as shit right now. Yeah. I agree. I was thinking that a few weeks ago, but Io, he's a much better shooter and can improve defensively. Absolutely. When he see the breeze suggests Kobe isn't getting those minutes back when he returned since Io's. Well, again, Billy, the way that everybody has talked so far is that they understand that if Kobe can get going, how much that means to the Bulls bench scoring. I do expect him to get minutes. Now, will he be getting the 20 minutes that he's like? Keep in mind, Io was still getting minutes. He was getting 10 or 11 minutes even when Kobe was getting. So it's probably going to be a switch, right? And like I've said before, if Kobe gets going, I see it as this: is that when the Bulls need games where the Bulls need defense, it's probably going to be Io getting more minutes. On the games where the Bulls need more scoring, it's probably going to be Kobe getting a few minutes. I think it's going to fluctuate if both are going. I think it's going to fluctuate. JT Mac, oh, you crying at me, bro? LeBron James signing Kevin Love. He's like, exactly. Cuts him out, bro. Like, hey, man, he's tripping. He's definitely tripping, bro. He's definitely tripping. He's in the Matrix. Kobe's getting his minutes. There's no reason to cut him back on his minutes when they need him to get going. But he's thinking not just in the media. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But the thing is that at some point, if Kobe doesn't get going, I've said before that from the date Kobe came back, it's going to be about a month to 6 weeks. Now he's going to be gone for 10 days. So add that time back on there. But I think they're going to give him plenty of opportunity. But it's December now, right? Let's say we're getting into February and Kobe has not turned it on or not shown very much improvement. He's still like every 3 games he's showing you a good game. At that point, I do think that they have to not cut their losses as far as trade Kobe, but they have to realize that it probably isn't going to happen for Kobe this season. All right. Last question. Does the Bulls have 2 first-round picks for the next draft? The Bulls have their own first-round pick and possibly Portland's pick. If Portland, it's lottery protected. So if Portland makes the playoffs, we get it. If they don't make the playoffs, we don't get it. It's as simple as that. It's the easiest protection to determine. Either they make the playoffs and we get the pick, or they don't make the playoffs, we don't get the pick. That's it. That's it. But all right, that's it. I went 10 minutes longer than I said I was going to when I said I was only going to go 7 minutes. So that's it for me tonight. I appreciate you guys so much. We just passed midnight. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Make sure you're subscribed. Everyone go and subscribe to the channel. I will be doing these live streams very often. So please go and subscribe to the channel. I can't stress enough and tell you guys enough how important it is for you guys to subscribe to the channel for us to continue growing. We just passed 1,800 subscribers like 2 days ago. And then I think we got like another 40 subscribers since then. So keep doing it. I appreciate these streams. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys had a good time and it makes you come back for the next stream. I should be able, the next game we play is Monday, right? I will not be able to do a live stream after the game Monday. So I will let you know that right now. So the Bulls' next game against Denver, I will not be able to do a live stream for. But the game against Cleveland, I will be doing a live stream afterwards. The game against Cleveland and the game against Miami next week, I'll be doing those 2 live streams. But for Denver, unfortunately, I won't be doing a live stream for that game. But that's it. That's my time. Make sure you are subscribe. If you want to send me any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, it's bullcentralpod@gmail.com. We also have a voicemail that I don't always remember, but it should be in the description of this video. The voicemail is 773-270-2799. If you want to leave a voicemail, I'll play it on the following show. But that's it for me. Like I like to end every video on, every episode on. Go Bulls. I love you guys. Peace.